tortoise has no hair.
The bush rat and the tortoise were neighbors. Sometimes other animals thought they were brothers, as the two had bristly hair all over their bodies, and because of this, at a distance, they looked more or less the same. The difference though was that the bush rat was fast and could climb up and down trees and bushes, but the tortoise was very slow and stayed on the ground. One early morning, the bush rat was woken by a wonderful smell. This was the delightful aroma of ripe figs growing on the trees at the place where man lived. He wasted no time in heading there. All animals were cautious around man because he was known to be very protective of his home and crops. The bush rat approached man's home very carefully. He could see the fig trees, but there was no sign of man. This was very unusual. He scurried forward to take a better look, and sure enough, there was man bent over a pot cooking breakfast with his dogs lying nearby. The bush rat, who knew he could run faster than man and was at least a match for the dogs, hopped and bounded forward as silently as he could. When he was within distance of the nearest fig tree, he climbed up and quickly picked the first succulent fruit he could get to. Then the second and the third. He was enjoying the fruit so much that he, for a moment, forgot where he was. A big ripe fig fell from his hand, hitting leaves and branches before thudding to the floor. Man looked towards the sound questioningly. The dogs looked up, ears pointed, noses keen towards the trees. One dog growled, and then the other. Then both took off towards the fig tree. The bush rat saw them coming. He grabbed 3 more lovely figs and dashed out of the tree and out of the way. The dogs followed. The bush rat, he was too fast. He hopped over thorn bushes, dodged cactus plants, and ran around trees till the dogs gave up the chase. The bush rat made it home. After recovering his breath, he noticed the tortoise looking at him longingly. Those figs look very tasty. They are indeed, said the bush rat, who without any hesitation gave a large fig to the tortoise. Try not to eat the seeds. We can plant those and grow our own fig trees. Then we will have all the fruit we need. The tortoise agreed that this was a great idea. So it was that the bush rat and the tortoise planted the seeds. But the bush rat neither watered nor tended his tree, while the tortoise looked after his tree every day. Obviously, one tree grew and the other didn't. After 7 full moons, the tree belonging to the tortoise was tall and full of fruit high up in its branches, while the tree of the bush rat had shriveled and died. The bush rat woke up one morning and climbed up into the tree of the tortoise and ate as much fruit as he could. Hey, that is my fruit. Throw down some of the fruit for me to eat, or I'll come up there and deal with you. The bush rat knew very well that the tortoise could not climb into the tree. He continued eating till almost all the fruit was gone. Very angry, the tortoise started gnawing away at the tree trunk. All the while the bush rat laughed and ate more figs. It wasn't long before the tortoise gave up, and unknown to the bush rat, strolled off to where other tortoises lived. It took a while, but he finally reached the place and explained to the other tortoises what had happened and how unfair the bush rat had been to him. His friends were very angry. All the tortoises, like a small hairy army, marched towards the bush rat. Still in the tree, and now overfull with figs, the bush rat was startled to see the tortoise army approaching him. When they reached the bottom of the tree, tortoises began biting and chewing, so the bush rat became quite scared. He took a big leap out of the tree. He ran as fast as his full tummy would let him, and the tortoises followed him. When he was sure he had escaped, the bush rat found a nice place in the shade of an acacia tree to lie down. He fell asleep. Later, the bush rat was woken by an eerie noise. He was stunned by what he saw. The tortoises had surrounded him. Thinking quickly, he remembered that he had seen the large skin of a snake nearby. He ran to the discarded snake skin, crawled inside, then started hopping and bouncing around as well as he could. The tortoises saw this strange sight, and on seeing the leaping snake, were worried. This strange snake must be a friend of the bush rat. We must run away before it eats us. The tortoises retreated as fast as they could. In their panic, they lost their way and ran through a forest of prickly thorn bushes. Each were scratched and cut and torn so badly, all their hair had been pulled out. And that is today why the tortoise has no hair.